Oh yeah, it's Ray's Macho Man Randy Savage here. Oh yeah, snap into it. Hey everybody, hope you enjoyed my Macho Man impersonation. Yeah, this is my review of the Macho Man Randy Savage. Pretty much documentary DVD review. They just released, finally getting a documentary of the Macho Man Randy Savage. As many of you guys know, the Macho Man Randy Savage has always been kind of the in the WWE kind of a hush hush, don't talk about him kind of thing. They don't really talk about the Macho Man. They did release, say, like a Macho Man collection DVD a while back with all his greatest matches, but we never really got the documentary. I think they really did this. WWE did this, just kind of shut up the fans and say, here you go. I mean, there's a lot of bad blood between the WWE and the Macho Man Randy Savage, even though he has passed away. I mean, I think if he's alive, I think we wouldn't even got this DVD of the documentary. But I think because he's passed away, I think the WWE said, okay, you know what, let's make the fans happy and let's shoot out a Macho Man Randy Savage DVD. Documentary DVD. All in all, what did I think of the DVD? I thought it was just a DVD to make fans happy. They didn't really give you a whole lot of information. They didn't really tell you why Macho Man and WWE was such at odds. I mean, we have all heard rumors. We all heard many different speculations. And WWE in the DVD, they'll tell you like some bullshit ones, saying that, oh yeah, Triple H called Hogan a Macho Man a dinosaur, and all this other type of shit, that, of course, that pissed off Macho Man, and then like, oh, no one really knows why. You know what? Just don't even address the situation if you're not going to tell us. I mean, there's a lot of rumors out there. There was a lot of rumors that the Macho Man Randy Savage had an affair with, well, not really an affair, because they were both single at the time, with Stephanie McMahon. And I don't know if that would be true. In a way that would make a lot of sense. They don't even talk about that in the DVD, by the way. But I've heard that like on so many websites, YouTube videos. There was even a question where someone actually asked Hulk Hogan that, and Hulk Hogan didn't deny or confirm. He's like, oh, I gotta check into that. Kind of plays stupid about it. But you know what? It might be a reason why WWE is mad at the Macho Man Randy Savage, or Vince McMahon has hostility, because if the Macho Man slept with Stephanie, that had to been like in Macho Man's last year, in like 93, 94. I think he left at the beginning or mid of 94. So Stephanie had to have been pretty young. I don't know what her age is. I have to check in to see how old she is exactly, but she might have been underage, if that actually happened. And that would maybe make sense why Vince McMahon, after all this time, because think about it, every single person that left the WCW, Hogan, Hall, Nash, all those superstars that all left, they all screwed over Vince McMahon in a way, but he brought them all back. And I think Hogan screwed over Vince a lot more than the Macho Man ever did. But for some reason, Macho Man was always, a no-no subject to talk about in the WWE. So, that's very interesting. So it was just a very, it was a fun, interesting DVD. I would recommend you guys, if you are a Macho Man Randy Savage fan, to pick up, this DVD, because it is fun and there's a lot of good matches that come with it. Running down the basis, they pretty much go and talk about his father, how his father was a wrestler, talked about his baseball career, and then what's very interesting, but I didn't know, I mean, I was a kid, and of course there wasn't all this internet and stuff you could look up shit back then, but I had no idea. I guess I kind of bought into the storyline. Of course, I was a kid at the time when I started watching wrestling in around 1990. You guys can see my very first video. I kind of talk about, when I started watching wrestling and the time periods and how I watched all the stuff from the 80s and stuff at my video store. But the one thing I never knew was Miss Elizabeth and Macho Man actually met back in 1981. They started dating, and Elizabeth had no ties to wrestling, nothing. I think she was a model, they said in the DVD, and they actually got married in 1984, and I didn't know that. That was before Elizabeth even came in the WWE. And I actually kind of bought into it, I guess, like a lot of people did. I had no idea. Like I said, I was a kid. There was no internet back then. I had no idea that they were looking to bring in like a manager, a female manager for the Macho Man Randy Savage, and Macho kind of recommended his wife. He's like, how about my wife? They kind of wanted a blonde girl, like a girl from the NWA, WCW days, Missy Hyatt. And they went ahead, and Macho Man's like, how about my wife? She's not blonde, but she's brunette. Beautiful young lady. How about her? And they went with her. And so that kind of caught me by surprise. So they go in a lot about Elizabeth, actually. If you really clock the clockwork of how much time, but they probably spent like maybe 30 minutes talking about Macho Man's complicated relationship with Elizabeth. And it was kind of funny. They kind of, and I heard this a lot too. I think this is true. Everyone that's ever talked about Macho Man backstage with Elizabeth has always talked about how controlling the Macho Man is. And that was kind of funny because you got to hear, like, the people that they had in this documentary was really funny. They had pretty much all Macho Man's enemies, even though it wasn't a roast or nothing, but kind of people that I know the Macho Man had beef with, doing the commentary for this DVD. I mean, and like kind of the person playing the Macho Man was his brother. I forgot his name. Angelo Popo, I think his name is. No, Lenny Popo. I'm sorry, Lenny Popo, who also wrestled in the WWE as the Genius. Kind of like he wore a graduation hat and he did poems and stuff like that. Like supposed to be a very educated guy, which he really is a very educated guy. He was pretty much defending the Macho Man and pretty much telling the Macho Man's perspective of things, like what he told his brother, because him and his brother were very close. But yeah, it was really funny because like I was saying, all the wrestlers were talking, not talking shit, but saying how controlling the Macho Man was. And a really good one, a really funny one. And I heard this story too from Hulk Hogan and other people, how Jimmy Hart said that Miss Elizabeth told him that, she needs to get out of this marriage because the Macho Man was so controlling. Like he said, back when Elizabeth around 91 or so wasn't really on television a lot, or 1990 to 91, they kind of did a storyline where she wasn't involved on screen anymore. And Macho Man, what he used to do was he used to buy 21 TV dinners, they said in the DVD, and told Elizabeth, you got a dinner for every day of the week for however many days. Don't leave the house. Pretty much put her on house arrest. And whenever she was in the arena, she was locked in her locker room. It was kind of funny. The brother was denying those allegations. It was pretty funny. But anyways, like I was saying, you hear from a lot of people that the Macho Man hates, like Lex Luger. I'm just assuming Macho Man hates or did not like Lex Luger, because if you think about it, I mean, not a lot of people like Lex Luger. Lex Luger was an asshole. I heard from a lot of different people and sites and different wrestlers on their shoot interviews said that Lex Luger was a prick. Hulk Hogan, which they go in a lot about Hulk Hogan. Their complicated relationship, and they even talk about that when Elizabeth left the Macho Man and divorced him. She flew over to Florida to Hulk Hogan's house because her and Hogan's wife at the time, Linda, were best friends. So they get into that. That was really interesting. Hogan talked about for about 9 years, Macho Man just had this, didn't really like him and talk to him, and he had this hatred for him for about 9 years about that. So, and you hear a lot from Hulk Hogan in this DVD and the documentary. So if Macho Man was still alive, I would be really interested to see what he would think about that, hearing pretty much from all the people he kind of hated, and then people he don't. I mean, you hear a lot from Ricky Steamboat, of course, because they had the classic match from WrestleMania 3. You hear from the $1 Million Man and all that, and then you hear about the death of Elizabeth, which I might shoot another Macho Man impersonation right here, because I would love to hear what Macho Man. Macho Man didn't do a whole lot of interviews after he was done with wrestling. After he was done with wrestling, especially around the Elizabeth time, I would have loved to hear Macho Man, his take on Elizabeth's death, which I heard he did take it hard, and they talk about that in the DVD. Because you got Lex Luger, who was an asshole, who pretty much killed Elizabeth. He got her all drugged up on painkillers and alcohol, and I heard there was some domestic violence. He was arrested like a couple weeks before she died for domestic abuse or whatever. You know, there was a lot of different things. So I would have loved to hear a Macho Man, you know, cutting a promo on Lex Luger. Oh yeah, Lex Luger, you killed Elizabeth. Oh man, you got her all drugged up, you motherfucker. Yeah, yeah. Snap into it. You know, I'm sorry, guys. Let me know if you like my Macho Man impersonation. But yeah. So, anyways, all in all, it was a good DVD. I recommend it. Of course, they talk about his death and all that, and pretty much it was a good DVD. You don't really get any answers to why he's not in the Hall of Fame, which I've heard from a lot of people. If you do want that answer why he's not in the Hall of Fame, I hear that they have, way back when he was alive, they offered the Macho Man in the Hall of Fame. I heard that was a rumor. I don't know, I'm not confirming that, you know, but I did hear that they offered him, but he refused. That he wants him, his brother, and his dad, the Popo family, to go into the Hall of Fame together. That he doesn't want to go in by himself. He believes that his dad Angelo and his brother Lenny Popo should be in the Hall of Fame too, and he would not accept it unless it was like at least his dad was in it too. He wouldn't accept to be in the Hall of Fame. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the Macho Man Randy Savage review of the DVD. It was really good. So if you guys like the Macho Man Randy Savage, please pick it up. Leave your comments on the bottom, and if you have any suggestions for videos, please feel free to shoot out suggestions, and I would be happy to either leave a comment or shoot a video if I like your question. Until then, have a happy Thanksgiving, and see you on the next video. Yeah.